Hello, my name's Mitigate, and I've been following the guy for a long time. But I'm more of a lurker rather than an active participator, and I've certainly never made any content about the guy as long as YouTube videos don't count. But I am like sick, and my throat hurts, and I feel awful, and I need something to distract myself. So I thought I'll set up a stream. Well, I changed my mind last minute and decided I'd rather just do a VOD because no one's going to come to my stream anyways. So why not just make it a VOD? So yeah, I need something to distract myself. So the guy right now is doing, he's doing like a tech support stream, and I have that computer autism. So the tech support streams really get me going. So we can switch to the guy here real quick, and catch the beginning of the podcast. I will say that I hate this intro. I'm so glad that RaPhil cuts out the music for that. And also, big ups to RaPhil in general, just because he does a huge service to the detractor community.
And welcome to the final podcast of 2024. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's New Year's Eve.
Okay, I'm already bored.
This should be a good one. We'll also talk about things such as what I'm looking to do in 2025.
All right, schedule segment. Oh, and that was the cold open, so we don't care.
I got distracted because Jasper Kitty is crawling.
I hope that we're all ready for some meaningful content.
Studio space. Yeah.
And of course we get the daily Jasper update.
For storage, there's a bunch of old joysticks in there for Street Fighter, and
I'm going to be trying to limiting the snorts and the coughs. So I'm going to be muting my mic throughout this, but it's not avoidable. So I'm going to apologize in advance. But I'm actually going to try, unlike our boy Phil.
A Connect.
Okay. He found a Connect.
I didn't even know that I had one. I found a Connect hiding in my entertainment center setup over there.
Oh, hold on. You found it in your entertainment center? So you're telling me that it's been in the room this entire time, and for like 10 hours a day, you are looking in that direction and you did not see it. Just so that I'm understanding, it was on the shelf in the entertainment center in the home office, and you didn't see it? You had no idea it was there.
Anyway, welcome to the show, everyone. Today is Tuesday, December 31st, 2024, the final day of the year. I hope that I find you all healthy, happy, and well. And if not, then hopefully I can put a smile on your face. Have a worldwide audience. I think that Mark over in Australia might already be in 2025. I'm not sure. But what a year it has been. Certainly, what an amazing...
Oh, boy. We're getting the year in review. Right? Thanks for all the money, dummies.
But just everything in general. You know, the positivity and the change of attitude around here now is great. And I'm so excited for 2025. What a year. I feel like right now we're about to finish the setup. I'm serious. We're not done yet. So... every day I say, we're done. The setup is done. And then someone's like, well, no, what about this? And what about this? And this is going wrong. And this is going wrong. And I'm like, oh, you're kidding me. So what's left? I'll tell you what's left. Pretty much one thing. This microphone needs a shock mount.
See, here's the thing that Phil doesn't understand, right? Like anything that you do, there's always room for improvement. And like, I'm not surprised the guy doesn't understand this, right? But especially when you're on the internet, there's always going to be people that have something to say, right? There's always going to be people that are like, well, that wasn't as good as it could have been. And like, that's usually true, but it's up to you as the person, like as an individual with agency, to determine when good enough is good enough, right? So like, does DSP need a Mic Cradle? Maybe. I mean, he's a pretty like animated guy, and he's also an idiot, so it wouldn't surprise me if he ends up like hitting his mic all the time, and it would help to have a shock cradle for it. But like this is one of the problems with DSP, is that he has no ownership over like anything. So when someone's like, hi DSP, I noticed that like this is bad and you could fix it, instead of just evaluating that feedback and deciding for himself whether he wants to work on it or not, you get like the whole, guys, should I do this? What should I do? Like, why isn't anyone telling me? Or, and it wastes so much time and it's super annoying. And it's like, bro, just you're an adult, you're 40 odd years old, just make a decision for yourself once in a while. It's okay.
My desk right now, you hear this, and that's because there's no shock mount. So basically, every time that I touch the desk or I'm playing on PC, like right now, it would be a big deal because how often am I going to touch this desk during the podcast? I'm probably not, right?
You're gonna open the liquid death
on PC like I was yesterday. When I was playing particularly Marvel Rivals, people were complaining that they kept hearing noise whenever I touched this desk. So
I like the severed
lime
lime flavor.
It's the weirdest
Not
thing I've ever
sponsored.
seen. So for my old microphone, okay, the way that the shock mount worked was it was a bunch of stretchy, kind of like elastic.
All right, and now we're learning what a shock mount is.
Like, all right, well, let's get it then. So I did, and it's coming today. In fact, it's coming during this very stream. I'm not kidding.
Oh wow, so Mr. I'm not gonna spend any more money has decided to spend more money. I'm sure none of us saw this coming.
During this stream, and
it's coming during the stream, and which means, and I can tell you because I've already watched some of this Pahdcast already today, is that like in classic DSP fashion, it shows up, he gets the notification on his phone, and so he leaves the stream to go get it.
Oh, here we go. It will arrive during the stream, and I hope that we can set it up easily without any difficulties, because it seems like I've had quite a bit of difficulty with every single thing that I've possibly done with this setup. Correct? Oh, here we go. Like seriously, every possible thing that should have been simple, that should have never had an issue, has become an issue. You know, so I'm hoping seriously that it ends up.
He likes to say this whole like he's made this comment in several different forms, just in like the tech arc that we have right now. The whole everything goes wrong and this only happens to me, and like this is why my life is hard. And it's again like here's a guy that he takes no ownership. He what's the word? He surrenders all agency in his life, right? And so he has problems because he expects things to require zero effort, and when they don't, like he just takes a guess and he ends up fucking it up, and it goes wrong. So like it doesn't, like this is why everything's so hard for Phil, is because he tries to put in, like he doesn't understand that you like sometimes you have to put in a little effort to like get the outcome that you want, and that applies to like anything in life, right? So he'll just be like, well, I got the boom arm, and I decided to, rather than like trying to even try to figure out how it was supposed to work, I just decided to start putting it together. And then I ended up damaging it, right? And then he complains about how there's no instructions. And it's like, my brother in Christ, like you could have gone to Shure's website and watched that product video that ALT and Snood had pulled up, and it would have shown you exactly how to like use the pieces of it, right? And these are the things that I think that like normal people are like willing and like can do. It's something that like, oh, I don't know how this works, I'm going to go see if I can find the answer, and rather than just kind of shoot from the hip and run the risk of damaging my stuff. But this is another great point of like, he's got this $100 boom arm that he bought, which after making fun of Rich for having a boom arm, which is incredibly funny to me because it's the guy, and self-awareness is not his strong suit. But the fact that he was just willing to be so cavalier about how you put it together and what you do with it, it speaks volumes of like how he values his things, right? Like I'm not someone who's like come from a great place of privilege in my life. That being said, like I never went hungry. I always had a roof over my head, so I had not to say that I'm without privilege, but like when I was growing up, we didn't have a lot of stuff, and so that meant that you really took care of the things that you did have, because you didn't know when like the next thing was going to come along. And so here's DSP that like when you consider like how he is now, and with like the knowledge that highly likely he never had to work for anything in his life, it really makes sense as to why he acts the way he acts, right? Like what you can imagine when Phil was a kid, he didn't like take care of his shit or put his toys away, right? And so he like, oh, I broke my action figure. Well, I don't give a shit because mommy and daddy will buy me another one. Right? Like that's just the vibe that I've gotten from Phil, right? Like Phil has all his toys, and rather than putting them in the box, he just leaves them wherever they fall because he wasn't disciplined by his parents, and then he steps on one and breaks it, and then or God forbid his parents step on one and break it, and rather than confronting Phil and being like, Phil, this is broken because of your negligence, they would apologize and just buy him another toy. Now, Phil has never said that anything like this has happened, but I think that if you imagine that happening, it really fills in a lot of the gaps of why Phil is the way he is.
Oh, hold on. I'm actually adjusting something right now that was distracting me. Testing. Yeah, there we go. Cool. All right. I changed my RGBs on the mic because they were distracting me with blue and red. They were distracting me, so I changed them.
Oh, I gotta change the RGBs.
Yeah, so this Shockmount is coming between now and like 3 p.m. So it's coming on this very stream. It looks odd though, because so for the old Shockmount, for the old mic, it would just go around the mic. The mic would be standing up like this, and it would just go around the mic, and it looks natural. And you know, this one, because this style of mic is the one that points towards you, you can't use that. So basically, the Shockmount goes here, which is really weird. So we're gonna have this coming down, a giant ring here with bungee cords.
Okay, I really don't need DSP explaining what a Shockmount is.
So anyway. So that's coming. That's the last thing. Like literally now, I've got the best boom arm, a great microphone. We'll have the Shockmount. I've got a computer desk to play PC gaming on keyboard and mouse. I've got a nice, awesome, really updated setup here. All the clutter is gone. No more preamp. That thing's a thing of the past.
These like, listen to how great my setup talks are so wild to me. Like I feel like in DSP's head, maybe he's trying to tell you like it could be transparent, right? It could be that the guy is just trying to be like, look, you know, I used to be shitty and now I am better, and that is because of your love and support and blah 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 blah. But I feel like it's really more bragging, right? Like DSP, it's very clear that like DSP, he thinks the tools make the man, and it's just not the case. Like I'm plenty of people who are really talented entertainers that have had like very shoddy equipment and situations and still like come out on top. And like DSP is like one of those guys that very clearly has had like a lot of things in life just handed to him, and that explains why he acts the way he acts. And like a great example, and like I feel like I'm repeating myself, but the whole like, I have the best boom mic arm, like he said that, right? And to me that just shows like it's like it kind of shows like DSP's outlook here is that he doesn't care about if his boom arm is good enough. Like he's not willing to put in the effort to determine like how much he would need to spend to get a good enough boom arm for his use case. So he just buys what someone told him was the quote unquote best boom arm, and he just buys it. And he's like, well, if it's the best, I don't have to worry about it being not good enough. Right. And like most people, I feel, would probably not go that route. Like most people, they care a little more about how much money they're spending. And so they would just be like, well, you know, this boom arm costs like $100 and it's really fancy, but like I'm no Joe Rogan, right? So, and I'm probably going to use it for, you know, an hour a day at max. So I can probably get one that's like $40. And it would be like, it's going to be a little more of a pain to use. Yeah, but it'll get the job done for a lot less cash. And like, not saying that he shouldn't have bought the boom arm, like for someone who streams as much as he does, like he should get a really nice boom arm, but like the point's not the boom arm. It's the point of like, this is how he approaches problem solving. He thinks he can spend the problem away. And it's not just like I bought the best capture card, I bought the best PCs. Like it's literally everything he does. He's like, I just want to buy the best, and then I don't have to think about the purchase that I'm making, and I'll spend the money because I didn't have to work to earn it. People just give it to me because I beg.
That space that's freed up. You know, Stream Deck right here. Everything is upgraded. My laptop I've moved. My laptop used to be here. I moved it to the right. So now when I'm gaming on PC, I can just glance to the left to see what you guys are saying.
It's also really dented this whole like, I'm so proud of my arrangement for my setup because it's so bad. Like the whole like the boom arm being in the shot, and also like needing 5 computers to do the job of like 1 or 2 tops. Like it's so bad, and he loves bragging about it. It's very funny.
Down to 27.5. I changed the tone to 50% bright. Originally it was at neutral, and then I had it at 30.
Now we're hearing about microphone settings. Don't care.
How's this? I'm trying to get different settings. Oh, that looks all right.
And tuning the RGB.
It's a little more every day. Crazy few days or weeks. It's been the whole month. It's a whole month of screwing around with this thing. And I understand how basically it could have been pretty annoying for a lot of you, right? And I agree with you. Like, I agree with you. Today? What's going wrong today? You know, what's up? Well, hopefully we have worked out all the issues now. And there we go. Looks really nice now. I like.
See, that's the thing is, hopefully we have worked out all the issues now. I'm gonna try to stop pausing because I can just go off on the guy, but like this whole hopefully we have worked out the issues now. It's like, brother, these are your issues. Like, and I feel like I'm channeling what's her name, I want to say it was Brittany something. She did like the business advice thing. It's like, these are your issues, and when you're couching it in this way of like, well, sorry, Charlie, like this is quote unquote work, so it has to be streamed. And I'm not going to take time outside of my streams to like figure anything out. Like, you are making these problems your audience's problems. And like, I get that like your brain doesn't work right, so you like legitimately need someone to hold your hand through this stuff and like work it out. But the problem is that it very much shows like how capable you are as like a human, right? And it makes you look bad, right? And that's the part that I'm not sure that DSP gets that. He doesn't realize that how bad this whole thing like makes him look. And like, that was a great expression here. So this is, you know, I feel like he was just trying to show that the different ranges in his mic, like probably talking about a compressor or something. I don't give a shit.
No, it still blocks it. It's the filters. Again, we have to adjust.
Oh, we're talking about filters. Cool.
No, all right. You know what? That's it. We're going to spend another entire stream adjusting this microphone. Doesn't that sound like a good idea?
Oh my God. How much longer? Raphael?
Yeah, yesterday it was cutting out bad because I kept adjusting it because of the noise that was on the PC. But now it should be better. It shouldn't cut. I don't think it's going to cut out today. I readjusted it back to the previous levels. And this shock mount that's coming should solve the problem that we were trying to solve with the adjustment of the level. So
his accent is so weird. Okay, sounds good. I'll never get tired of hearing salve and frag.
Yeah, AMS says yesterday I could catch every third or fourth word. It was choppy. So far today, you're good. Excellent. All right. So outside of the shock mount arriving today, that's literally it. I'm done with this setup. It's been an arduous task.
Thank God we're done with the setup. Can we be done with the RGBs too, please? I'm so sick of the RGB segments.
Oh, I'm still in transition. I'm still working on this. I'm still on this. I'm late for this. I'm this. No. I just want to focus on positive stuff, good content, gaming, chill vibes, and all the like. Okay.
So this is DSP saying that he's ready to actually start working again. That's what I'm taking out of this, is that DSP feels like he's wasted all the time he can. And like, pro tip, it's because he only got like $16 yesterday when he was messing with the mic. So like, I like, you know, power, you know, you should never give DSP money. However, if you are a legitimate fan of DSP, right, and you legitimately, unironically enjoy his content, right, the whole putting the mic stand together, that was not content, right? That is not what you as a true fan of DSP is there for. And so it's my understanding that no one bailed him out. And like, that's how you have to treat DSP. That's how you have, like, he follows the money. It's literally all he cares about. So like, if you don't want these whole like, you know, tech support streams to happen, you have to stop giving him money. And I know it's difficult, especially when you have, you know, diminished, capacity, that when someone is literally begging you and guilt tripping you on screen and just being like, wow, I have all these problems. And because I had to spend my time on stream, sorry, coughing my lungs out. Because I had to spend all my time on stream actually like fixing the problem instead of doing that off stream and then making the regular content. I didn't make any money and now my life is falling apart. Like, you have to block that shit out. And I'm so happy the Dents did not give him more than $16 the other day.
So as of tomorrow, full power forward into the new year. But we're not there yet. Today is the 31st. It's New Year's Eve. All right. So today what I'd like to do, reminisce a little bit on the last year and how absolutely crazy it was. You know, what a year that it had begun, because, man, if you remember early on this year, we were in RPG overload. Do you remember how
RPG overload strikes again, boys? We thought we were done hearing about RGB overload.
RPGs that had been out,
no,
they were all failing. Like, literally every RPG in a row was flopping, but weren't showing up, weren't engaging, weren't supporting, we're complaining.
It's because you're boring, DSP.
You're boring. What are you gonna do? And it was a dilemma, quite frankly. You know, it really was. I felt like it was a big dilemma, and we had to try to figure it out. And we were floundering there for a little bit until I decided around April-ish, forget all the RPGs, let's play variety.
I know I just had like a big talk to, you know, the people that legitimately, genuinely, unironically like DSP's content. I cannot fathom what the appeal is. Like, it must be because he's just there. Like, that's his, like, if you could say DSP does one thing well, it's because he's there. all the time. And it's because Mr. like household operator literally doesn't have a life outside of his office, right? He's there for approximately 6 hours a day, stream, you know, with the camera on. And so the whole like
mic setup. As I want to show you
oh boy. Okay. So I have to talk about this, but let me finish my thought. So like the whole, like he's always there. So like you can always like, except on his one day off a week, you can just count on DSP being on and or having a stream from earlier that day that you can watch. Right. And like, that's like literally the only good thing that I can think of about DSP. And if I'm wrong, like let me know, like but I'm not seeing them, whatever they are. So let's hear about this setup. We got some pictures to go over, and we'll have to, you know, I want to savor this part.
All right, not going to spoil them all right now. What the heck did I just click? That was the wrong button. I want to show you some behind the scenes photos.
Oh boy, behind the scenes photos.
Now that everything is essentially set up, like the only thing that's going to be added is the shot guard, but everything else is in place. So I want to show it to you. You know, it's going to be pretty cool. All right, it's going to be pretty exciting.
Oh, I'm excited, DSP.
Also, after today, now we're moving forward. Tomorrow we'll have a new setup, meaning it will not be the same.
Okay.
Rid of all the swamp, right? Started using on my
more schedule.
Is going to be on the channel now. I still have to tweak it. Like the logo that I put on the channel page, I thought was transparent. It is. Then it loaded as a white background, and I'm like, why is there a white background? So I may have to tweak it a little bit to make it look a little better. It should be great. All right, so. Oh, by the way, guys, so I am not, we've confirmed I am not cutting out, correct? The microphone here?
Oh my God, get on with it.
Randomly, that's your fault. So let me go ahead and ban this person. Okay.
All right, we're banning somebody. All right, okay.
All right, you know, be a lie or a false statement, correct?
Is it Fun Young? Yeah, it's Fun Young.
Okay. So let me go ahead and ban this.
Fallen Soldier. You gotta, if you're gonna LARP in the kick chat, like you have to be like more creative than that. Like here's the thing that I have like, that I've come to believe after watching a lot of restreamers is that if you're going to LARP and you want to be like an antagonistic LARPer and not like a protagonistic LARPer, like the best way to LARP is you have to be really vague. Well, you should be like, if you're LARPing, whatever comments you're making, positive or negative, should be vague, but because that's what DSP does. But like, if you're going to say like quote unquote negative things, like you want to be vague enough so that he can't just outright be like, no, you're lying. But you want to be like specific enough so that he like gets worried about it, right? So like, you know, the whole like, oh, you're still cutting out randomly, and it's like, well, he's got all these people who aren't saying that, and so like if it's just you, like I think your normal streamer would just be like, hey, it must be on your end, no one else has this problem, but DSP would just ban you, right? So in the event that your headphones were just not plugged in right at your computer, your phone, and you say like, hey, like I just heard you talk about audio issues for the past 30 minutes, I'm having some, you know, it's not sounding right to me. Instead of being like, hey, I think it's on your end, he'll just be like, banned, right? But my point is that like you got to be like, you have to be really like the comments you make should be really subjective, right? And they don't necessarily need to make sense, and just be like, you know, DSP, like everything's so great with this new mic setup that you have, but like, you know, since you've like made like the filter, like put the filters on, I feel like the color, like the color of your voice just isn't quite right. Like that's how you have to say it, right? Because he'll be like, oh, the color of my voice, like that makes a lot of sense. Like I need to figure out what he's talking about, right? Or like, you know, use words that aren't like super indicative of the issue, right? Like instead of being like, oh, DSP, your voice is too bassy now. You just say like, DSP, are you losing any of your highs? Like the balance seems wrong, right? Like that's how you do it, because like he can't specifically be like, oh, well, this is a new mic and now you're finally hearing the bass in my voice, which is what he did when other people made that comment. But like if you're super vague about it, and like it makes him like stop and think about it and worry about what's going on, but it doesn't give him like an easy out to like determine if he's being lied to. And I think it is so much funnier.
All right, so good stuff.
Good stuff.
My focus right now is games. I need to get as far in games as I can. Particularly today we're playing Indiana Jones, and I'm hoping to make a lot.
Oh my God, more schedule segment.
But I'm only halfway through 2 of these games. Able to do this month was play some FromSoft games, notably Dark Souls with mods. which is something
Someone once said, and it was probably ALT because I watch a lot of ALT videos, was that this is the only guy whose content is about the content, right? Like the only, like 90% of what DSP talks about is the content, right? And that's why these schedule segments just drag on for forever. Like he'll be like, this is my schedule. Like you can go look at the schedule on my community tab or whatever. And then he'll just be like, yesterday we played this game and I only got this far and I'm worried that it's not going to get off the conveyor belt fast enough for the next game that I need to play. And it's like, bro, like you spend like 2 hours a day just wasting time on this so-called podcast, right?
The first Sin edition, which basically changed the game around and made it tougher. So there's a version like that too. So I honestly don't even know.
Spoon. Hold on, I need to see this name. Spoon for Noodles Tarted Real. Excellent LARPer name. Unfortunately, I think they just bit the dust.
In the next couple of days. So that we can readjust and figure out what we want to do. Because I think I'm going to start it Thursday. Like, no lie. I think
still talking about the schedule.
Dark Souls mod run this Thursday and see what it's like. What is it like playing Dark Souls on PC with mods? It's something
I got excited because he showed the picture of the setup, the behind the scenes, and it just wasn't time for that yet.
So good stuff, coming up. And so now we're going to be juggling Indiana Jones and stuff.
And this is a guy with like in total probably has, 250 viewers on his so-called podcast, which has been running for, 220, 150. It's been running for like 20 minutes. And like, again, DSP's strong suit is his regularity when it comes to streaming. So it's like, this is it. This is what you're going to get.
Killer Frequency. So I want to give Killer Frequency a shot and I want to see if it's any good as an actual like playthrough.
Okay. Still on schedule.
If it's good long term, and if we all like it, and if it's something
schedule,
I'm interested in it. Okay, so I buy it and I go to play it, and within 2 sessions, everyone's bored of it. But I'm like, well, I already bought it, so now I'm committed to playing it, and I got to play it for another month.
What are we talking about now?
The attendance is tiny. Everyone's bored and telling me to play something else. No one is engaging with the content or me, and no one's supporting the stream. That's not how to operate, a successful stream or business. It's just not. Okay, I need to find things.
If people don't give me money, then I can't be successful. Yeah, no shit, dumbass.
You know what I mean? That synergy between those two sides. That's not Phil anymore. I changed a long time ago.
Oh, we get another I changed segment. Fantastic.
So I don't want to be stuck playing or committing to a playthrough for an extended period of time that no one's enjoying, right?
Sarah Barclay, DSP Gaming, I think you have read too much into having a slow stream and presuming it's because of the game. Often a successful stream just depends on whether you major supporters are available or not. Is DSP going to address this? I'm thinking no. He tends to ignore Sarah Barclay, which excellent. I really enjoy Sarah Barclay's comments. I think that they have given DSP money in the past, so I can't say too many good things about them, but they're one of the few, they might be, there's a chance that they're a true and honest fan. And if you're not, please don't take that as an insult in the event that you happen to hear us. But the feedback that they give DSP is actually genuinely good feedback. Obviously DSP doesn't think that it's good feedback because he's DSP, but the whole thing where this is a reasonable feedback to give. And it's worded in a way that isn't insulting, right? This is just, hey, this is, you've been saying this for years, and I don't think that's true. This is my take on it, and you should think about this. And so I think that's how Sarah remains unbanned. And that's part of the reason why. I'm not sure if Sarah is just a really good LARPer, or is actually a true and genuine fan, because it's either and that's how you know you're a good LARPer is when you could be construed as a true and honest fan.
So that is something I think we need to do. Marvel Rivals, I like it. It plays like Overwatch.
Marvel Rivals?
Do you remember what happened with Overwatch? I played it for a few months. People got tired, and I wanted to keep playing it, but I eventually dropped it because people stopped caring. Marvel Rivals did exactly the same thing in the summer during the beta, where I was playing it and I liked it, but people were bored of it and I stopped playing it. So it's kind of the same deal here.
This whole thing where people say "well said" in the chat is very funny to me. Please do not stop doing that.
I need to understand is that this is not just my hangout session. This is not just my hobby. It's my job, and I need to make content that people want. And that's something that's going to be a change because people, particularly as my detractor,
tangy, savory seasonings, excellent LARP name.
It's what? Okay, so let me ask you a question. When you go to work, all right, and you're working, and you are
Oh
trying
my
to put out,
God.
you know, some kind of productivity that benefits the company or benefits something, right? And then you get paid for it, correct? That's what work is. Work is not you go into a room and you sit there and you just hang out and you casually do whatever you want and then you receive money. You need to be making a product that people want, whether it's the company that you're making the product for or customers that are coming in. You're making a product that people want.
He's so close to getting it, and he never will.
They actually will say something like this. You ready? Well, I don't understand because, you know, Asmongold can just stream whatever he wants. He can stream anything, and people like him enough that he makes, you know, insane amounts of money every stream. Not every streamer is Asmongold. Not every person.
See, this is where like the like again, he was so close. He's so close to getting it, but the ego, the narcissism, it just won't allow him to like internalize this, right? But he's so close, right? He's like, you have to give people a product that they want, right? And DSP begs so hard and manipulates like his audience into giving him money, especially given that most of his audience, as far as we can tell, is, you know, more toward the mentally handicapped side. Like the fact that he takes vulnerable people and like manipulates them into giving them his money. Like he's like, oh, well, they must love me if they're giving me this money. And it's like, well, no, like they're giving you the money because you manipulated them into doing it, not because they love the content, right? And here's the other thing, like he just got done, like he admits that other streamers can stream whatever they want and have like a quote unquote successful streaming business, right? And it's because they've built an audience that is accepting of that, right? Like, and that's the thing that DSP doesn't get. We've been down this road before recently with DSP. Someone in his chat was just like, well, you should stream whatever you want, and then you can build an audience that like will come to watch. It was the JRPGs. He was complaining about how he can't play JRPGs, and someone was like, well, Phil, like you're the captain of the ship, like you can stream whatever you want, and if you stream JRPGs, you will eventually build an audience that wants to watch JRPGs. But he missed that part. He missed the eventually part, right? He thinks that like, and he's not willing to not have the money or the less money for the amount of time it would take to make that, like, to sculpt the audience in that way, right? Because he'll stream a JRPG for like a week max, and if he's not hitting all the goals, then this game sucks and I'm not getting support, and like, you know, it hasn't been very positive, and then it's a wage quit, right?
Turn on a stream and basically have a social club that they could just sit there and hang out with an infinite number of people that roll in because they're already popular and make insane amounts of money off of nothing. Do you get that? Like, people are so ridiculous in their heads. They actually think that I am the same level as like some giant content creator. I'm not. I keep telling people I am very much more the blue collar guy. The only reason that I survived as long as I did is because I worked my ass off. Streaming is much. DSP,
you are not and have never been a blue collar guy. Your ability to use threaded fittings on your boom mic arm show that you are like, you have no skills.
What it is that people like and don't like, and treat it as such. You know, when I start a playthrough, all right, let's try it. Did it work or not? Is it working? Great, keep it up. Is it not working? Then we move on. We do something different, and that's got to become something normal. That's got to become the new normal. Not, oh, Phil bought a game and he played it to stream. He didn't like it, or the viewing audience didn't like it, and he dropped it. Oh, what a wage quit situation. No, that's not the point. Like, I shouldn't have to commit to a playthrough of every single game that I play. I should be able to experiment and try new things. That's what a lot of content creators do. They'll jump into a game, they'll try it out once or twice.
See, and this is the problem, right? He's comparing himself to other content creators when he does not behave like those content creators. So I didn't realize, I missed all this part of the stream. I came in just when he was doing like the setup review, and apparently we haven't gotten there yet, and you know, please shoot me. But it seems like here's the part that he's missing, is that other content creators have cultivated their audience so that they can make the content that they want to make, and their audience enjoys it, right? Like, that's the problem, is that for the longest time, you were the guy that always finished his playthroughs, and you were really proud of that. And that's, to some extent, it feels like you still are, because you like refuse to admit that you ever rage quit anything. And when it comes to wage quitting, like you think that you can, like, it's really transparent when you have no money, and then you immediately start complaining about how bad the game is, right? Because in your mind, those two things are the same. Like, the game must be bad because I'm not getting money for it. Therefore, I'm going to quit this game because it is bad, not because I'm not getting any money. And it's like, it's really transparent how tightly those two things are linked. And so what he's going to sit here and, like, you know, devil eye into the camera and try to convince you that he does not wage quit games, when that's exactly what he does. But hey, he's the guy and he lies all the time,
They'll see if it's any good, and if it is, they keep playing it, and if not, they drop it. And maybe every once in a while they go back to it, but they're not committing to playing it constantly. That's another thing that content creators I've just been this weird, I don't know, different mentality, I guess, because of the way that things used to be on YouTube that aren't anymore. You know, YouTube is not a place where I can run to the store, buy a game on release day, pump out a playthrough in 2-3 days.
Now we're getting a history lesson.
And then on to the next. That's not my formula. So why am I treating it as such? And again, listening to moronic detractors saying stuff like, oh, he wage quit the game. That's a good thing. That's an actual good thing. Because if people were liking the content, they would be there to watch it, engage it, and support it. People show up and support for what they like.
Did I not just get done saying that this is exactly the argument, the exact position he was going to take, right? The game is bad because people aren't giving me money. Not because the game is not bad because the game is bad, right? And like you tell DSP that, oh, you know, this game has like 5 million like concurrent players at any one time, and he's like, well, those 5 million people are stupid and don't know anything, and they're mouth drooling morons, right? Like that's just how he is.
If people aren't showing up and engaging and supporting, it means they don't like it, and I should be doing something else with my time, right? So why is that a bad thing? What would make you think that that's a bad thing?
And this is also really funny because he just got done telling us how he does not wage quit. And now he's telling us, you know, he's doing the classic narcissist. Like, I don't do that. But if I did do that, that's actually a good thing and not a bad thing.
Honestly, unless you're dumb. That's the thing. For me, anything I do is wrong to my detractors. So it doesn't matter if I'm doing the smart thing or the right thing. It's still wrong in their eyes, you see? But it has to have nothing to do with them. It has to have to do with you and me, us, and what we're doing together. Are we having a good time? Are we enjoying this game? Are we chilling? Are we gelling? Does it make you want to support the content, right?
He just said that the quiet part out loud again. It has to make you want to support the content.
So, yeah, that's what we got to figure out. And I think that that's a healthy attitude to have. That's a healthy way to go about my content moving forward. And, you know, the reason I really wasn't able to do that previously was I didn't have the financial flexibility. I was so financially tight all the time that I couldn't do that. And I would tell you guys that, sorry, I can barely afford the games this week and stuff like that. I'm not in that situation anymore. Okay? At least for the time being.
Coming from the WWE champions guy, like this is really fun. Again,
let's try out this new game.
Like all of DSV's problems are almost exclusively because of like his own making, right? And again, here's a guy that has given up like all control of his life, and he just lets things happen to him and makes bad decisions. And then when it comes, and rather than looking at himself in the mirror and being like, wow, I made a series of bad choices that caused this outcome, he just goes, huh? What? Why did this happen? My life's so hard. Please pity me and give me money.
That's a really silly mentality in my opinion, but it's something that I've done for many years, you know? Okay. So, all right, so good stuff. Where shall we begin?
Clyde Baxter in the chat, where was he? For 2025, let's normalize wage quits. Like excellent LARPer Clyde Baxter. Like this is exactly what he's like. This is exactly what he wants. Like this is like you're reinforcing the thing that he just said, but you're taking it to like an extreme that he may not be comfortable with, right? Like he just got done telling you, well, I don't wage quit, and if I did, it would actually be a good thing. And then one of the LARPers in his chat is like, yeah, Phil, you should wage quit more because it's such a good thing and you don't do it. And then like I would love for Phil to read that and then tell Clyde what an idiot he is.
So, all right, so good stuff. Where shall we begin today? How about this? I know that you guys have been through a lot this month.
I don't think he's going to read it.
This month has been technical disaster after technical disaster. You know, we had a graphics card that I bought that didn't fit into my PC. Well, it fit, but it didn't work with my PC. Then I had to get an external card going. Then we had technical issues out the ass with the videos because they weren't processing on YouTube. We had to figure that out. Then we had issues with my internet for a little bit. Thankfully, that fixed itself. Then we had new lighting, and the lighting kept malfunctioning.
More complaining from the guy who is literally incapable of doing anything by himself.
Router and all of that. And it was just thing after thing, right? Like literally thing after thing after thing, culminating now with this microphone, you know, having some issues, and now we're trying to work on that, right? So it's just, I get it. What I want to do, I would like to show you my setup now that it is essentially complete, okay, except for this Shockmount, which I'm waiting to arrive today.
All right, and we're just repeating what we have said. This is probably the third or fourth time he's repeating content during the Pahdcast. And we're checking to see if the Shockmount has been delivered. because
it's literally arriving in 2 stops. It's going to be here in like 5 minutes.
oh wow, it's gonna be here in 5 minutes, Drew.
Live installation on the podcast. Yes. Let's break it again. Let's do it. I think I'll be a little bit more careful.
He's really excited to install it on the podcast because like that means that he gets his handheld and he doesn't actually have to quote unquote do work. He gets to like, and this is really funny because it ties into that rant that he said earlier. He's like, well, when you have a job, you can't just like go into a room and then like just do whatever you want and expect to be paid. That's not how jobs work. And it's like, isn't that not literally what you just said you're going to do? Like your audience is not here to watch you put a shock mount on your mic. Your audience is here to presumably like watch you play games or like, God forbid, the podcast. And so you're going to stop doing the podcast to put the mic arm on, right? And like if similar scenario in like an actual job, like this would be unpaid time, right? Like if I was at my job and I'm like, hey, like I have to, go to the post office, like, but it's during the workday, so I clock out for that, right? Like I don't get paid to do something, for me, right, at my job. And it's a little different because he's quote unquote self-employed, right? Like it's one thing if my employer asks me to go to the post office, well, that's for work, so I do it during work hours and I don't clock out for that. In fact, I get to charge mileage. But when I'm, but that's not the boat that he's in. Like he's got this weird hang up of like, if he's quote unquote working, he needs to be quote unquote earning money for it. Right. And that's not how things work when you like own your small business. And like I do own a small business. So like I can speak a little bit to this. I know other people that own their small businesses. And it's like at some point you have to like put in the work. Like, okay, let's imagine that DSP has a sandwich shop. And that was a joke. Let's imagine that DSP has a lawn care company, right? And he gets paid to mow people's lawns. Well, let's pretend that he needs like the blades on his mower need sharpened, right? Well, he, instead of like not going out and cutting the grass, because that's the part that he gets paid to do for his small business, that means that during grass cutting time, he has to be cutting grass if he wants to get paid. So like, so rather than like showing up to a customer's house, unloading his tractor, and then like taking the blade off and being like, hey, can I borrow a rasp file? Like, no, you do that like quote unquote on your own time because you're the business owner and you know that this is something that has to happen for the business, but you don't get paid to sharpen your blades, right? You get paid for cutting grass. And like that's a step you have to take in order to cut grass effectively and do a good job. And so like that's just something that you do, right? If you have a lawn care business where you mow lawns for 6 hours a day, for and like I don't know, an hour, 2 hours of just dicking around the rest of the day, like you can't just miss a stop on your rotation. Like, oh, sorry, I had to do maintenance on my tractor. And it's like, well, no, like if you want to keep your customers happy and get paid, you have to figure that shit out before it impacts the product that you're delivering. And that's what DSP doesn't get. Like he thinks that, oh, I need this set up for my stream, which means that someone should pay me for it. So in a nutshell, this is like DSP in a lawn care business, like not showing up to cut someone's grass and then calling them, or when they call him, be like, hey, where are you? I need you to cut my grass. You didn't come today. It's my turn. He'd be like, oh yeah, I had to do some maintenance on my tractor. Can you still pay me anyways because I was working? Like that's not how this works.
When the shock mount was installed, but all right. So what you're looking at now is the view from basically if you were standing right where my camera is at my new setup.
Oh my God.
Here is, as you can see, the newly updated studio.
He's so proud of this, and it's really telling.
Memory foam. I say memory foam. Soundproofing foam. Excuse me, which I love. Don't you?
Like, look at this, right? Like, this guy is something else. Like he's all right. So like, let's breathe it. Let's drink it in. Right. We got a YouTube play button. Right. And sorry, I just got done coughing my lungs out. So I'm a little snorty. And then we got the stupid like Sonic hat blue on top, right? And then we have not one but 2 desks to hold our not one but 2 keyboards, 2 mice, plus a laptop and the Stream Deck. And also, I'm assuming these are the eye drops. And then I don't know what's going on down here, right? Like plus like we've we've already talked about how stupid. I mean, I haven't, but detractors have talked about how stupid the Divoom is, right? Like if the guy had like an ounce of creativity, like I feel like he could just like green screen something in here, right? He could just like put like a green. Or he could put something in that spot that he could then chroma key, and then as long as it was square to the camera, I imagine it'd be really easy to like make that happen, right? And he probably has someone who'd be willing to do it for him, like the dragon guy, right? Like I don't know how to do that, but I've been thinking about doing something like that, and I've been thinking about like how I would go about Googling the question so that I could find the answer, but I just don't care enough to set that up right now, right? So, and again, so like the dude's got, because the dude does not understand technology. Sorry. Let's just move on.
Love the looks of that. Doesn't it just look great? And it really catches the light. Huge
Doesn't it just look great?
improvement, in my opinion. Of course, that's my office chair that I've had for many years. That's the one thing I basically didn't upgrade because I don't really need to right now, but I will. And of course, to the right is the digital frame. That's the Divoom Pixu
Divoom
64 digital frame. And then one of my new signs, that's the Pac-Man sign that I've loved this whole month. Of course, my crown from my kingly return to prominence. And, Nutcracker, that will be switched out.
And now we're talking about the knickknacks in the back of the stream.
So that's obviously my boom arm with the microphone now right in front of me. So here's my 2-desk setup. In front of me, we've got my laptop desk that I've been using for about a decade. Okay, and it rises or falls, like it has a height adjustment built in, like a hydraulic thing. As you can see, it is newly
This is so dented.
newly readjusted. Now there's no more clutter. Basically, it's just my laptop, which is open right now.
It's all cluttered. Like there's nowhere to do anything on your desk because you have it covered in shit.
Mug in which I pour my seltzer water, and then right in front of that is the stream deck.
I have my mug for my seltzer water.
Phone right there next to it. And if you're wondering what's that bottle, it's eye drops in case I need them, and that's my hand exerciser right here. So that's what's on my desk right now. No more clutter. You may have noticed. There is no preamp anymore. The skull.
This guy is such an animal, right? Like, look how bad this looks. I mean, like, you can the background here, like that's like, some of that is personal preference, but like, look at his streaming setup, right? Like, I have an L-shaped desk configuration currently, right? But like, and so like this is part of the stream where like I had tuned in and watched for a little bit, so like I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But there's a part in here where he shows like his
preamp was there for a decade. I don't need it anymore with this mic. There's no need for a preamp, so I got rid of it, and now there's way more extra space on the desk, which is excellent. Okay, pretty cool.
He like shows his like the TV, like the view from the TV, and like
basically
why does he have another desk here? Like I'm like I there's a lot that I feel like I could say, but like I just need to hear his explanation for this. He has a preview, what appears to be a preview monitor on the other fucking side of the room. Like what good does that do you?
So as you can see, no more giant clutter, no more ginormous tripods. I got rid of them. Okay, it's 2 very small tripods now that I have. One has the Insta360 Link webcam on it, and then behind it, that's my new lighting setup. It's called Newer, name of the company, Newer, and it's a really good light that I can adjust on the fly.
I mean, the whole light camera thing is whatever. It's fine.
Which is awesome that I can do that. And, we'll probably be using it for various different things over the next year, maybe different lighting systems and stuff like that. Pretty cool. So that is my streaming and capture PC. And as you can see, sitting on top of it is the Live Gamer Ultra 2 point whatever it is.
He bought a whole, and just need to reiterate that he bought a whole brand new PC, did 0 legwork, bought a capture card that would not work in it because of the configuration that he chose, had to return it, and then still get an external card.
For the PS5 Pro. All right, and so they're all running there to the back of the PC, as you can see. And then of course, that is I only use 1 monitor now. I don't use the 2 monitors anymore. Yeah, I only use the 1, which is great. So it makes it actually easier. It was the reason I used to have the 2 monitor setup was for editing, but I just like having it all on 1 monitor now. It just makes it easier in my opinion. It's less
oh, so this is the old editing workstation. That's the editing desk that we're looking at. I feel like I've seen it in like previous like clips.
And as you might notice something, take a look at the PC. It's standing on an actual stand. It's on an actual four-wheel stand, so it is no longer sitting.
So that desk he used to do editing on. Rather than do that, he has just rotated the monitor so that he can see it.
It's easy to move them around the room. So let's say I have something new.
Sorry, I thought I had a sneeze coming on from across the room where he's sitting.
With my previous PCs because I was a moron and I didn't have them on anything. Well, now I do. Okay, that's awesome.
I mean, as much as I like to be contrarian for the guy, like you definitely shouldn't set your PCs on the ground.
Nice and dark in here. No more.
So that was actually a thing that he did that was correct.
That's actually a small leather chair. That's the chair that I bought earlier this year. If you remember, I was going to do co-op gameplay with my wife, and it didn't really work out.
I don't care about co-op gameplay with the wife.
Well for that. The ceiling fan now, so I use the ceiling fan every single day. It's on. This is my gaming PC setup. This is on the other side of the room.
Okay.
Right, so you saw the capture streaming PC. Well, those wires are running across the floor of my studio, and they go right here. So they're going right into the very.
So again, I mean, we those of us that have been in the detractor sphere, we know that like he's bought 2 PCs to do the job of one. Like we know that, but it still irks me every time I'm reminded of it, because like this is totally unnecessary. This like spaghetti of cables that he has, like there's no reason for any of this. Like, and also he has his controllers on the other side of the room. Like, you know, in a more perfect world, like he would have one PC and he could have the PS5 like at his desk with the PC that he streams from, captures from, and plays games on. And then he could run a single HDMI cable from the capture card over to the PC. And then he would have game audio and video on the TV. Not to say that like that's a good idea. Like this whole like I have to use a TV because I'm a couch gamer thing is so weird to me. I don't think there's no streamers that I know of that game on a TV and have a setup like this, right? So like let's imagine DSP's room here, right? So like next to, presumably over here is where the TV is. Well, maybe it's on. So here's the wall with like the curtains or whatever. And if there's another wall over here, maybe that's where the TV is. So I'm going to hold my piece a little bit and see if we can get a better look at it.
The floor of my studio, and they go right here, are down there to very easily. As you can see, it now has a uninterrupted power supply. Now, as you can see on my entertainment center, all I've got, this is it. This is what you see is what you get. Like I'm probably never going to use it again.
It is for the business, and I do still have it.
Of course, looking at the TV, this is what it looks like.
Okay, so yeah, so the TV is actually. So this shows you how much DSP gameplay I watch, right? So the TV is actually on the wall that is parallel to the desk that has the keyboard and mouse on it. So like this is such a weird setup, right? Like, you know, let's pretend that you did actually want a game on a TV, right? So you could, rather than having the TV against the wall, like you could have it like that should be the part that's like out in the middle of the room. It's just the TV, right? Because then you could, so like let's go back here, right? So we're looking at, he talks so much. All right, so let's pretend, we could put the actual, like his actual streaming setup here, right? And if he really wanted to, he could like get or make a blocker for these windows. Like he has the blackout curtains, so like the light from the blackout curtain shouldn't be like hitting his screens and causing glare. But like, and again, DSP is probably the least handy guy that has ever lived. But if he really wanted to, he could build like some 2x4 frames and then stretch some like decorative soundproof cloth over it and just like set them into the window, right? And then that would like clean up the look behind him. Right. So he's actually sitting between the window and the desk here. And then he could have like literally the whole width of the room he could have as like desk space. Right. And so then he can have like his monitors also facing the window. He can have his camera like, out floating. Like I think most people just put them on top of their computer monitors, but all his computer monitors are so far away that he has to do this weird like floating like camera setup, and it makes zero sense, right? But he could have his desk, his chair, here, and he could have a desk in front of it, and he could have a couple of monitors here, and the monitors he could use to, check the preview for his streams and read the chat and read donations, and that would be one computer, right? And that would also have the capture card attached to it. So when he's gaming on his PS5, he can use the capture card and he doesn't have to like get up and risk tripping over wires, right? And then on the other side of the room, right? And it's just faster to do this. On the other side of the room here, right? Like he could have his TV like directly in front of him. You could imagine if we were pushed all the way up against this wall, like he could have like one long desk, and he could even have like one monitor here, and then immediately between them he could have like the TV, right? And he could put like his webcam like off to the side a little bit, so it's like he doesn't have to look past the webcam to see the screen. Like he does that anyways, and it gives you like the 3/4 profile or whatever, right? Like that would be it, right? And then we don't have to see the stupid fucking door, and we don't have to see, up until very recently, the door to the hallway, and like that he doesn't have to constantly like swivel his body to like turn and look at stuff, and like he doesn't have to squint across the room to check his preview. He doesn't need this laptop to check his chat and check his donations. Like, it would be such a much better setup to just do that.
TV in its charging dock right there, along with the.
Don't care. All right, let's hear about this. What do we got going on here, DSP? Tell me about it.
That's the situation here. I'm in the mountains. That's the situation here. I think really the confines of the room. If this were an all needed to be. Monitor that I play the games on.
Just like to point out that I'm pretty sure that this guy right here is the AC unit that DSP has like habitually bitched about having to like quote unquote get out and install and then uninstall and then put away, like with the seasons. It just sits in his room, right? Like his installing and uninstalling is putting the little exhaust pipe like in the window, right? Like
that's the situation here.
But like that's just classic. That's just classic. That's just classic DSP, right? Like he complains about literally everything, and he's such a liar and so used to being a victim that like everything is awful and it's always the worst thing ever.
It'd be great if I could get some support, whether it's super chats, memberships.
Oh yeah, time for support.
A tip, anything would help. The whole idea is to try to keep the momentum going. We did hit multiple goals yesterday. We're at 35. If we keep the momentum going, we'll be doing a DSP Tries It this Friday of a brand new restaurant that we looked at yesterday called California Burrito and Taco Shop or Taco.
And we're back to schedule.
There's a grand opening on Friday, and I absolutely would love to do it. So please support the stream. I'm going to run downstairs, grab the package, come right back, and then we'll do a quick unboxing and set it up. And hopefully I'll have some stuff to shout out. All right? I'll literally be right back.
Look how carefully he has to like get out of his chair. And it's because he has such a fucky setup, right? Like he's obviously worried about kicking something when he got up out of his chair. And also, you know, again, the whole like, this is something that this is an upgrade you're making for your business is not actually like it in itself. Doing the upgrade is not the product that people pay you for. And now we're going to do it during quote unquote work time, right? And expect people to give us money. So we snuck in a quick bag and now we're staring at the chair until DSP gets back. Internet Tough Guy Real is a classy LARPer name. Excellent work. Sorry, I literally just coughed and it's habit to inhale. So let's just skip ahead until he's back. Oh boy, now we're reading the product information because we are a consumer that, we are always fooled by the marketing.
So maybe I shouldn't use the extender at all. Since I have to use this now, maybe I shouldn't use the extender. Maybe
is DSP going to be able to get the extender off?
Down. There's no instructions. He was like, read the instructions. There's no instructions. Another device. There's no instructions. Absolutely not. No instructions whatsoever. You just figure it out.
This is not a point. Like, this is not an original thought. So another detractor I was watching made this point. It might have been Almighty Tevin Praise Be, might have been ALT, it might have been Snood. But like, this is exactly the problem, right? Is that when you're buying this sort of stuff, like when you're buying industry equipment, right? And it doesn't matter what industry you're in, but like when you're deep enough, when you're like you're at a non-casual level for something, right? You're buying professional grade. I don't know how much he spent on this. It was probably way too much money. Because he's DSP, and again, he likes to buy the best because that, in his mind, that means that doesn't require him to do any research, right? But like when you're buying say let's pretend that this is like a $200 shock mount. I don't know if that's how much a pro level shock mount costs, but let's pretend, right? This is the most expensive shock mount that he could find, right? If you're selling the $200 shock mount, right? There's really no point in including instructions like with the thing, because one, they're not that complicated. Like none of the audio stuff, like it all kind of like bolts together in like a pretty like straightforward kind of manner, right? Like ALT was talking about how these lock rings like work, and I could see how that would throw someone off who has like no mechanical skills whatsoever looking at this guy. But presumably if you're buying a $100 shock mount and whatever the fuck this cost, like that's not the first one of those that you bought, right? Like you bought the $20, like, Chinese brand that it falls apart after like 100 hours of use, right? And that's how you learn to put it together, is because that thing came with instructions, because someone wanted to be a streamer and they bought the cheapest boom arm they could find, or Shockmount, whatever, and like that level of product needed instructions, right? When you get to the prosumer level, especially for things that are really non-technical, like this isn't like a piece of technology, right? Like this isn't like a really fancy camera, right? Like, hell, even if it was a really fancy camera, like presumably if you're buying like a Blackmagic 4K or whatever, I don't remember how much those things cost, but if you're buying like $1,000 camera, odds are really, really good that you have used similar stuff in the past. So they're really like, you know, most people who would spend their hard-earned money on something that nice, like at the prosumer or professional level, they already kind of know what it's about, right? They don't need instructions on how to operate it, because, you know, this isn't their first one, it's their third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 10th one of these, and they have upgraded as they've gone along, and making that movement from, you know, pure consumer, like I bought this at Walmart for my son, to like, you know, I need, you know, to spend a $2,000 on upgrading my studio. And when I say studio, I mean like an actual studio, and not what DSP calls a studio.
Instructions. So yeah, that's how it goes. It goes just like that. That screws onto your boom mic arm.
Pissing me the fuck off.
Into your actual microphone. What do they call that? The fork?
Okay.
I don't know yet.
Don't care. Well, that was a nice corner demon.
The office figure this out, and then next, I haven't.
Show us the corner demon. And
oh, let's see here. $1 tip. What are your plans for the long form? You want to?
Nice white.
I don't know yet. I want to do another long form react, possibly by the end of January. I haven't put much thought.
All right, I give up.
I'm like doing more. The only difference between the S and X is if you're going to play 4K. If you're going to play 4K, you want the X. If you're going to play 1080p, S is fine. I know, because my wife had an S for a whole year, played every game she wanted, even new ones, and they all ran beautifully. You didn't need anything above the S for just 1080p. That's it. Like, really, that's it. Okay. Now, when it comes to the PS5 and PS5 Pro, PS5 Pro will give you higher frame rates at the higher resolutions. So if you want to play at 4K 60 frames in certain games, you want the Pro. Okay. Again, if you're just doing 1080p, it probably doesn't matter. If you're just doing 1080p gaming, I would not recommend buying a PS5 Pro over the PS5. They're probably going to run the games almost identically. Okay. I mean, keep in mind, I was running games at 120 hertz VRR, variable refresh rate, on my base PS5 at 1080p. There was no reason to have the Pro. The Pro has only benefited me because I was able to play a game like Bloodborne at 4K with the special upscaling that made it look slightly better, right? It's not really much or any better. So no, I wouldn't recommend dropping all that money. Again,
I have nothing to say. It's okay. I was about to say I have nothing to say. I do have something to say. He was just talking about how like it's not worth buying the Pro over like the original or whatever. And this is the guy that chronically spends money. Like, he cannot not spend money. So it's really funny if you think about it. It's really funny that he is apparently, allegedly, someone asked about which one they should buy, and he's giving them this big long spiel about how, well, you don't need the more expensive one, because like as long as you're not playing at 4K, like you don't need that extra horsepower, and like you should save the money. And it's like, my brother, you are the one who needs to save money.
Thank you for the first tip of the day. All right. So, what's hilarious is that so many people right now are cringing. They're like, dude, you're really going to do this right now after the disaster from 2 days ago? Yes, of course. Of course I'm going to keep doing this, right? I mean, what are you, crazy?
Cringing from the disaster.
I just want to confirm. The mic is not cutting out. It's smooth today, correct? The mic is not keep cutting out. We've got a couple trolls in chat, and I want to take care of them if it's true that the mic is good today.
See, this is what I mean. Like, you can't be that black and white with it. If you're gonna LARP in Phil's chat and you want to say negative stuff, like you have to, the comments you make have to be super subjective. Like, so it's like a matter of opinion if you were right or wrong.
Rid of the dunces. Stop popping up. Whenever you moderate someone, it pops up a giant message that sticks there for like 20 seconds. Like, I don't need the message. I want to be able to move my chat now. Please go away. Okay. All right. So, yeah, we're gonna do it. Let's see here.
Review Tech Uganda.
Now. I can loosen this fine. Okay. So this I can just unscrew. Then it's all about unscrewing the top. Uh-oh. Oh, man. That's around really tight. Great. Anyway.
Sorry, I don't think I was quick enough on the draw to mute my mic there.
Arm has this issue where it just tends to over-tighten itself. So I think I'm going to have to find a way to loosen it again. See, so this, you just turn left. That's loosening. Think about this. Get it off.
Use the lock ring, Phil.
Wow, that sounds so tight. I'm serious. I have to go get my screwdriver. I have to go get my wrenches again.
He's such an idiot. I was losing my mind in the Tevin stream. Was it Tevin stream? Yeah, I was losing my mind in the Tevin chat because the other day when he was trying to get the mic arm sorted out. Like, here's the guy that claims to be blue collar has I use the expression at work, wrench turning, as like to describe like a job that needs done, but isn't necessarily like technically difficult, right? And that's not like a knock on people who turn wrenches, right? But like it's literally like it's an expression that I use to describe like, hey, this is a job that does not require a lot of technical expertise to do, right? This man is literally incapable of turning a wrench.
This thing is over tightening itself. Just through natural use, it just keeps tightening itself on here. So now I literally might have to go get a wrench again. I don't know how to get it off. You know, it's on there too tight.
Why does he need to take it off? Oh, it's because we still haven't installed the shock mount. Oh my God. He still hasn't installed the shock mount. I got so caught up. I'm not sure I can watch. I'm not sure I can watch this. So so he has it, right? Like this is threaded, is it not? And then this is a threaded lock ring. The lock ring needs to be threaded onto those threads so that when you install the extension, you can position it the way you want it, and then you can back that lock ring down onto it to, lock it into place. And he doesn't like zero mechanical ability whatsoever.
I'm not going to use this extender. I'm going to get rid of it because it's causing too many problems. And this washer is completely useless. It has a washer. It doesn't do anything. It literally just sits on there, but it's not grooved. Yeah, it's not even grooved, so it doesn't do anything.
It's not grooved? I find that hard to believe, Phil.
Okay. This has to screw back on.
I mean, I'm not calling the habitual liar a liar, but I got an X to gout on that one. Oh wow, it looks like a thread on, Phil. What's up with that?
The Shockmount onto this.
Did that just thread on, Phil? Am I dented? Did I miss something?
Okay.
Does he have it in the wrong spot? He puts the threaded adapter on, and then the lock ring threads on.
Okay. Now I got to screw the shock mount onto this.
That's the problem.
Oh, this is a pain. This is a pain because I got to do it with the USB side. I'll unplug the mic.
So it is threaded, is what I'm seeing.
So I'll unplug it. I'll be right back.
Oh, well, guys, I have to unplug my mic in order to install it. Yeah, no shit, dumbass. This is the kind of stuff that DSP does that just pisses me right the fuck off, right? Like, again, this is not something he should be doing on stream, but like we have to do it on stream because we have, zero patience, zero mechanical ability, and this gives us a way to stall without actually doing work, right? This is now he can spend more time with his wife after the stream, and he doesn't have to install the shock mount after the stream is over. And we're skipping. Like, did he just figure out how the lock ring works? I think he might have. Wow. Okay. I
have this tightened all the way.
We might be done with this. I don't know if I can watch this anymore.
You have to be on this frame. That's how this style of mic works. It dangles on this frame. Okay. Yeah, it looks weird to me. It looks weird, but it seems to be doing. All right. So now here's the test. Will this stop?
I don't care about the test.
As you can hear any other atmospheric noise in my room. Maneuver it any direction easily. Yeah, and where's the scrape marks? Like right here, and right here. There's scrape marks right there. But at least it's not as bad as seeing double scrape marks. I only see single scrape marks instead of double scrape marks. How exciting!
All right, are we done touching the mic?
I received a $1.01 tip. Put King Jamal on the leaderboard. King DSP, Jamal to go. Real talk, let's go. So I'm assuming that this dollar tip was from Jamal, or the working out the details and the viability of it, right?
How much longer we got here? 144.
Early next year to figure out the details. Right now isn't. Excuse me.
Oh my God, we still have 20 minutes of this bullshit left. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I don't know if I got it in me.
Looking to get like a Netflix subscription and start getting back into the product. Like I literally have no idea what's going on with WWE. I am completely in the dark. I don't know who the champions are. I don't know what the plot lines are. I haven't followed wrestling in a long time. So I would have to basically go right back in after years separated from it and try to play catch up on where all these people are and their plots and characters and everything.
Are we on to Q&A now that the mic is hung? Like, is that where we're at with it? Because if this is all Q&A, I don't necessarily need to stick around for it.
There's definitely interest, but basically it's just an issue of like me, how busy I've been this last month. I mean, this is an insane month for me with the setup and everything, trying to get everything working. And I feel like right now, this is it. What you're seeing right now, this is the setup. We're done. There's no more upgrades. This is it. This is, what you see is what you get. I'll work tweaking the mic settings and stuff, but outside of that, we're good. We're done. Let's just now make content together, right? Let's have fun. As opposed to
let's make content together. Let's do my job together.
I think I'm happy, how things are. So time to move forward in 2025 making content. So now that we're through that, perhaps I'll be a little bit more freed up. Of course, now I got my year-end series to work on. So once we get past that, then I can maybe start focusing on new stuff. And, you know, say again, I don't even know what's going on with those guys. They haven't been around. They haven't even streamed in like almost 2 weeks. I think they streamed right before Christmas.
We're back on the Kino boys.
I gotta get caught up on everything. Okay. Let's see here. I received a $20 contribution. It is a $20 tip. Hope you have a good new year filled with family and Jasper. Do you have an Amazon wishlist for Lego sets or anything you may need? I currently don't really have an Amazon wishlist. I technically I do have one, but it's absolutely ancient. They're really a nice animation. Thank you for the $20 tip. I appreciate that. Yeah, currently I don't really have one. The one I have is ancient. I haven't updated it in a million years. All it was credit vouchers.
Hi, Phil. Is there a way that I can give you money, but without giving you money, because I know that you just spend it on polls and sweaty JPEGs, and I actually want to like my money to be used for something tangible? Look how he steps out of his chair.
Oh, yeah, there's nothing on there. Now as for Lego sets.
Like he's definitely stepping around something. What is on the floor?
Overly expensive. So I got Lego plants.
Lego plants.
And so, perhaps sometime in January, for the first time ever, we will do Lego night.
Oh my God. Can you imagine the amount of hand holding for the Lego building stream setup that's going to happen? That's at least a whole podcast. That's at least an hour and a half, 2 hours of him setting it up. And you know he's going to buy another webcam, right? Like he probably has like his old webcam still, because the guy does not throw anything out. But like there's no way he's going to be able to build it and have like people see it, right? Like he doesn't have room on the desks around him to actually do anything. And you know that dumbass is not going to like move his laptop and stuff, because how is he going to keep track of chat and donations or whatever? So like he's going to, I guarantee you, someone's going to talk him into getting like an overhead like boom arm, like a, what do they call it? Transverse boom arm. And like he'll have to buy a tripod, and he's going to have to wait for that to come, and then it's going to come, and he's going to be streaming, and he's going to have to go get it from the front door unless they put it in his post box, and then he's going to have to walk 10 to 20 minutes down to his post box to get the part that he needs for the transverse boom arm, and then he's going to come back and he's going to install it off frame, because he can't be bothered to like actually show you what he's doing, right? And then he'll like, after he gets it all set up, then he'll turn the camera towards it so that you can see like what he got with, and it's going to be absolutely dog shit, right? And then people are going to be like, oh, Phil, like this isn't going to work really great. Like you need to put some weight on the back end of your transverse boom arm, otherwise it's going to sag and put stress on the transverse joint. And he's going to be like, well, how am I supposed to know that, stupid? I'm just a regular guy. I'm a gamer.
Something interesting, something we're learning together, or researching or covering that's informative and stuff like that, rather than drama about some guy who covers drama on the internet or a fucking lolcow. Like I don't care. I'll be honest, I just don't care. I really don't anymore. Like I've been there, done that. I know about Wings of Redemption. I know about Boogie. I know about all this bullshit. I don't care. I've got stuff to do in my life.
Pro tip: when DSP says he does not care about something, he is lying.
If I want to do fun, like crossover event and stuff like that, I can work with Casino and guys like that who are fun guys to hang out with and make content.
I take that back. DSP cares about anything that gets him money. So he cares about drama in the sense, as long as he believes the drama can get him money. Right now, the drama streams have like dried up because people stopped paying Phil for them, as far as I can tell. And so now we don't care about drama anymore, you guys. Like we need to get back to our core audience. And I think PPP, I call him Triple P, said it the best, was that Phil had like the opportunity to get into anything that he wanted after the Kino arc, right? But he didn't. He did like the worst move possible, where he like changed just enough to alienate like the handful of people that are his like genuine true fans, and like but like not enough to like actually attract like a new fresh audience, right? And so like the people that genuinely care about him, they haven't been coming around to the stream as often, as far as I can tell. And like these are also people that like usually give DSP money. And we're making fun of somebody.
Cool, good stuff. So let's see here. Anything left? Okay. All right. Well, we only have a little bit of time left. We've
so on this podcast. Apparently, some anonymous guy gave DSP $20, and he has $26 of his $150 goal. Right, which means that 80% of the money that DSP has. Am I doing that right? My mental math game sucks. I am not dented. I'm just very bad at mental math. So yeah, I know. Basically, Evil Within 2 was completely overlooked. Yeah, 80%. You can feel free to judge me for that. 80% of the money that he has is from one guy. and this is a classic DSP like occurrence, is that he squeezes a couple of dollars from a couple of random people, and then someone gives him like a huge tip, right? And like, if I'm remembering correctly, like back in the day, like DSP used to get like really excited about tips like of that size, and like it was very like, I feel like now it's just kind of like, oh, $20, thanks, like moving on. And it's like, can you imagine if another streamer who had, you know, 300 concurrent viewers, like someone just came in and gave them a $20 donation, like wouldn't that be wild? Like that would put like pump the brakes on the whole stream. Like whoever that streamer is, you would very likely make their day, if not their week, right? Because like genuinely, like if people are paying you, if you're not being, and this is the important part, if you're not being manipulative into getting people to give you money, if people just unsolicited give you money as a streamer, that's like a huge win for you, right? It really validates that you're like, that whatever you're doing, people really enjoy. Because it's one thing to give people, like it's one thing to get money from people, because like going from $0 to non-$0, like just to give a streamer $1, like that requires like, you know, putting your payment information in somewhere and actually like parting with some money. And like I feel like for most people, like if they give a streamer $1 a month, like that's not money that they're genuinely going to miss, right? Like most people can spare, you know, around $1 a month. But I don't think most people who are in that boat give that money, because it's kind of like, one is opening the door to like somewhat frivolous spending, but also like, you know, there's the concern about, you know, data security and things like that. So like just when anyone gives you any money whatsoever, like that's a big deal as a streamer, I think. Like I feel like that's a really big deal. And then to have someone who gives you $20 anonymously, who isn't even getting like the recognition of the shout out for giving you the money, I feel like that says something, like his reaction to it. And also like the whole, like people not attaching their names to tips.
You know, how busy will I actually be there today? I have no idea. Hopefully not busy, but who knows, right? What is my wife currently playing? She had been playing a variety of stuff and kind of juggling back and forth. She was playing, well, first of all, she was playing Planet Coaster 2. She got upset because it was actually more limited in the first game. Like, actually had less content. She was playing...
Don't care what Cat's doing.
Power Wash Simulator. And...
Power Wash Simulator. We've mentioned this before. Oh, we banned somebody?
I really wish this touchpad would work better. I don't know what's going on with it. Things were wearing out. Oh yeah, don't worry. The Dark Side Child returns to another buck. All of your suggestions, anyone who posted up a suggestion for long form reacting, it's still valid. The reason I did what I did for the long form reacting in December was because it was suggested to me by several people, and then it ended up being a dud.
Don't care about long form reacts.
2017. So what value is my car really? Right? Like the car for 2017 and end of 2024, early 2025. What's the value of it now? I don't even know.
You know, I think like
who knows, right?
That's like kind of one of the weird things about DSP is like, well, I shouldn't say it like that. One of the strange things about DSP is that I feel like his React content is probably the worst content that he makes. Only, you know, like for me personally, it's probably the political show, but the political show is dead, right? But like in a vacuum, I think the React content is the absolute worst, because like he's never gonna watch anything that like makes him uncomfortable or actually like gets the gears in his brains to turn, because he doesn't have two brain cells to rub together, right? So like if he sees something he doesn't like, he's just gonna skip it, right? Even if you actually paid like the level membership to like, so that he quote unquote has to watch it, like he reserves the right to stop watching it at any time. So you can't give him whatever it is, $25, and just be like, hey, I want you to watch like this hour-long video. Like he's not going to do that, right? So I was going somewhere with this. Oh yeah, but so like the problem for me is the political content is absolutely dog shit, right? It's so bad. I understand that some people can like extract some enjoyment out of it because they're just like, wow, look at how big of an idiot this guy is, right? Like he's such an idiot. Like these takes are so dog shit, and like he's actually proud of having these absolutely uninformed dog shit takes. And a lot of like, I had the unfortunate pleasure of watching like one of his like the very first DS Politics stream, and I've seen some clips from the other ones, but like he's just outright like misunderstood like the situation, and then he throws up this just god awful garbage take based on him not being able to understand the situation. And then he's sitting there like with his arms crossed. And he's like, look at how smug I am because I am DSP and I'm the smartest man that ever lived. And blah, blah, blah. And like, and that just pisses me off so much. Like it's unwatchable for me because it actually like makes me mad to like hear someone have these dog shit takes. And it's like, I know that like I don't think DSP is actually influencing anyone's opinion, but like the opinions he espouses are like so bad that it irritates me that someone is like that dumb and believes that they are so intelligent, right? The ReACKS stuff is like a little more palatable for me. It's boring as sin, right? It's just awful content, but it's unwatchable in the way of like it's boring and not unwatchable in the way of like it's dumb, right? Like it's stupid like what he does, but oftentimes he's reacting to stuff that like the content that he is reacting to is strong enough that it's not half bad, right? Because like a lot of DSP's reactings are like, huh, oh, how neat is that? That's pretty cool, huh? Wow, I never knew that. Like that's how DSP reacts to shit, right? So like you kind of get like the unfiltered version of the content that he's reacting to. So sometimes
I haven't been able so much because of my limitations, and I don't have limitations. See, I can basically do whatever I want, and that's an awesome thing.
Sometimes it's not half bad. But the politics is just it's unwatchable garbage.
We will reminisce about the year that was 2024. All right, guys, this is it. The final sign off of 2024 feels pretty epic, doesn't it? Everyone, thank you. What a great.
Oh my God, it's over. We made it. We did it.
Now it is time to move on. In fact,
can I just say that the bit that ALT started of just like yelling over the bells, like the outro music segment, is so funny to me. ALT, in the event that you happen to like hear this, do not ever stop doing that. It is so funny. In the event that I do more of this, I'm probably gonna like have to steal that bit because I find it so funny. And you know, imitation is the highest form of flattery, right?
I thought I knew where I put the file. I guess I don't. I just saved my New Year stuff, but I don't remember where the hell I put it. God damn it.
All right, are we getting out of here? I need DSP to leave so I can finally call this shit show.
I was going to add the New Year stuff right now, but I can't find it. All right, well, tomorrow, we'll reminisce on 2024. And
oh my God, we're back to the schedule.
Happy New Year, everyone. Thanks for watching the Level 1 Podcast. I'll see you in 2025. All right, cool. All right, we got to get set up, guys. So, we're going to be playing Indiana Jones today.
All right, I'm not watching him play Indiana Jones because DSP's gameplay is probably like the third worst content that he makes. Like it's bad. Like, and I hate to say this, right? I really do hate to say this, but like for a non-genuine fan, like an ironic watcher, like I feel like 99% of detractors fall into this category. Like the podcast is literally the only thing worth watching from DSP because he says the stupidest shit. And you just have to, but it's like completely harmless, right? Unlike the politics thing, he says and does the dumbest shit, and it's really easy to just sit back and laugh because the stakes are so low, right? But like, you know, his gameplay has been awful for years. But I don't want to go on another rant, so I'm gonna call this one a day. So if you happen to watch any of this, thanks for watching. Hopefully someday I'll do like a stream or maybe another one of these bad boys.